Sjoukje Vaartjes, Registrar, Melbourne Zoo. The problem that we had was that we had databases that weren't linked to each other. So Melbourne Zoo only had information about Melbourne Zoo animals, and even the database for husbandry was separate to the database for veterinary information. So they weren't linked at all. We couldn't share information with another zoo easily enough if they wanted to acquire an animal. If an animal had a certain disease, it wasn't easy to find out any information about that disease anywhere else in the world, and that would usually be in other zoos because they'd be exotic animals. So the solution that we got to was we wanted to combine the databases that we had for husbandry information and medical information, and we also wanted to be able to share that information throughout the member zoos worldwide. So we developed an online system. Initially that was just husbandry, but if I was sending an animal to another zoo, I could just give them sharing access so they could view the records on that animal and decide whether or not they wanted to keep it. Later on they incorporated the medical data, so all that information is now linked. So the way it's helped us is we were asked to acquire a new male otter because our current otter's quite old. So we needed to get a new breeding male. So Miami Zoo offered us an otter, but by us requesting the sharing of his husbandry and medical records, our vets reviewed them and said, no, he's had kidney stones, he's had broken fingers and toes, he'll have arthritis. So we decided against taking that animal. If the records hadn't been able to be shared like that, we may have gone too far down the track in that shipment, waiting for those records to be sent by mail or email, but by being able to review them, our vet could make the call saying it wasn't an animal that we should acquire. The lessons learned in acquiring the software are that it's only going to work if you're willing to share your information. So initially when they were developing it, some zoos said, well, we don't want people to know what we're doing with certain animals, and that's not the idea behind this software. Most of us have got animals that we only have a few of, and they're exotic animals, so we really need to be able to share that information with other zoos that have got the same species. They're not like dogs and cats where there's heaps of information, so we really need to share, and that's what this whole software is about. The efficiencies, what we used to have to do was the keepers would weigh an animal, they'd write it on a notepad, they'd go back, write it in a report book, and then I would put it into the system. What we've developed into now is that some keepers can carry an iPad with them, and as soon as they weigh an animal, they can enter the weights directly into the software. So we're reducing double and triple handling a lot of the time. The keepers also really like having ownership of the records that they're putting in. And I also like it because I'm not just being a data entry clerk in a way, putting their information in.